Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 10 of the 2021 edition of the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippys live here on RaceSpotTV in support of the CALMZONE, the campaign against living miserably. Tonight we are racing at Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, located in Bowmanville, Ontario in Canada. We will be racing for 16 laps, and we have at the moment 49 drivers signed up to compete in today's race. Weather is clear, 19 degrees Celsius in the air and a hot 39 degrees Celsius on the track with an average humidity and wind, so it's gonna be a very slippery one here today for the drivers, so watch out for some big incidents, especially coming down that hill on lap number 1. My name is Linus Broström, and with me as always is Ryan Walker, and we are about 2 minutes away from qualifying, finishing up here, and currently it's Kane Halliburton leading the way ahead of Simon Edwards and Lee Hughes. And Ryan, it's been a great season so far, and 3 races left. You got any sort of championship predictions as we're nearing the end?
It's been a great season, the Monday Night Skippys, and it's been really close, but I think if I was to go just on form and pace as well, I think Benny Simonson is in the box seat, but I think if there was someone to pull something out the hat, I think Lee Hughes could be the man to stop Simonson.
It's still a long way to go as we get the championship standings here. Benny Simonson at 298 with Lee Hughes at 276 and Simon Edwards at 259. But if we drop Benny Simonson's worst result, which is last week 19 points, while Lee Hughes drops nothing, that gap of 22 points is only down to 3. So still anything can happen in this championship in these last 3 races, and it's not easy tracks left either in the championship here, as we have Canadian Tire Motorsport Park today, then Donington next week, and we're finishing off at Long Beach, so it's wide open for everybody. Still got a couple of cars out on the track here though. Benny Simonson is still out on his final lap. He's got a couple of corners to go, and then we've got Clark Williams still on lap. We're going to follow Benny Simonson here as he's coming through the last couple of corners. He's got 10 seconds to the line if he wants to improve on his 4th place position and leading the championship. I think he'd very much like to get on pole here and open up that gap. Here he comes though. It's going to be an improvement, and that's actually going to be pole position. 132.419 is enough to put him on pole position by over a tenth, so that is an outstanding lap to finish it out there from Benny Simonson. Here comes Clark Williams as well. He's only got 10 seconds to go though. He's coming into the final corner, but the time is going to run out. Is he going to make it to the start finish line? I'm not too sure he is. The time is running down. He is going to make it. 32.728, and that is going to move him up the order slightly. But that is it for qualifying, so let's go through the full starting grid. Benny Simonson on pole position, just over a tenth ahead of Kane Halliburton in 2nd, Simon Edwards in 3rd, Lee Hughes in 4th, Ewan Pattinson in 5th, and Adam Miles in P number 6. Anthony P.M. Jones in 7th, Daniel Tufts in 8th, Nathan Wade in 9th, Will Redford rounding out the top 10 with Tony Stack in 11th, Nicholas Von Roberts in 12th, Ben Evans in 13th, Seth Brown in 14th, Andrew Bernowski 15th, James McRitchie 16th, Clark Williams in 17th, Kevin Budgeon in 18th, Dave Martin in 19th, George Mattock in 20th, and the rest of the grid is up on your screen, and we have 50 cars now signed up for this event. Not too sure how many will grid, as we only had 36 of the 50 drivers that managed to set a time during that 10-minute qualifying session. But Ryan, as we know on this track, coming down the hill, the first left-hander, if you go in the grass there, you're pretty much going to hit the wall, and being back in the pack in such a big grid, just how difficult is that when you come to a corner where you know that you cannot touch the grass at all?
Yeah, turn 2, it's such a difficult corner because you want to try and carry. It's one of those corners that tempts you to carry as much momentum as possible, but being in the pack and even further back in the pack, it's so difficult, and don't be surprised if you see drivers get caught out, as we're just about to get underway in a few moments' time.
Our drivers still have about half a minute to grid up here, but I think most of the drivers are out on the grid. Still going to give them a few more seconds here. Benny Simonson though lined up at the front of the field ahead of Kane Halliburton with Simon Edwards in 3rd. You can see the grid going all the way back there and around the last corner, so those guys starting on the inside back there are going to get a little bit of an advantage on those starting on the outside. Everybody is on the grid though, I believe. Engines are starting to rev. Their red lights are about to come on. There they are. A long hold for everybody. The green flag is out though, and we are racing in Canada. It's a great getaway there from Simonson and Edwards as well. Halliburton drops in between them though, and the first 10 cars are single file, getting a bit of side by side back here. Seth Brown had a great start and gained a position, actually lost 2 positions. That was James McRitchard that gained 2 spots right away. Coming down into this deadly left-hander though. Everybody seems to be single file. Up at the front, got a car wide there, but he does not hit the grass, and it looks like everyone's going to get through there. Simon Edwards comes through on Kane Halliburton as well to move up into 2nd position. So a good start for everybody, but everyone seems to have gotten through those first couple of corners without any major incidents.
Yep, absolutely. As they're coming down the hill now, down towards turn 4 and heading up to turn 5A and 5B, and then just about heading onto Moss Straight, and it's a tricky section this car, or Mosport. It's just because you want to try and get on the power as quickly as possible. Someone's had issues going down the hill to the double right-hander.
That would be Alan Patterson, I believe. No, he only lost a couple of positions. I don't think that was a major off. Got back on the track quickly, not enough that it will show up on my timing screen, anybody dropping down the order. Martin Booker though has had a bit of an issue. Tim Adcock as well, they've dropped back, but that was a little bit earlier I believe. Now coming down the straight for the first time here, we're seeing this massive draft that you get on this track as well. Get Simon Edwards up into the leader ahead of Benny Simonson now. Kane Halliburton keeping up there back in 3rd as well, and this lead group still 18-20 cars. Now Ben Evans has had an issue and he is dropping down the order, as is Tom Dell, who's already towed back to the pits, but Ben Evans had an issue there. Mark Langford now as well dropping down the order. So a couple of incidents there further back in the field. Here we have a replay of Tim Adcock as he makes contact with the 39 of Tom Dell, who goes flying into the fence, loses all but one wheel. Tim Adcock going backwards back up onto the track, tries to get it turned back around, and he is back going, but he is down in 43rd position now as he passes pit lane. He's going to come up a few positions. Here we have Ben Evans as well, as it goes wide into the grass and just bounces off that wall and loses both his left side tires. So that is actually he did not, that was a glitch, sorry about that, but his day is going to be pretty much over. He just goes well wide, does not make that corner whatsoever, and a very unfortunate event for him there. So he will have his work cut out for him. He's down back in 42nd as we have Tim Adcock again here, back on track with the damaged suspension, spinning around once more. So not the best of start for these guys, but still going, most of them. So we still have 42 cars on track. Yes, I believe we had 5 cars that did not even start the race. But still, at the front, the leading group is still 14 cars long. So still anybody's race here, as actually the top 7 has started pulling away slightly, but not too much still considered one group here. We have Phil McDougall as well, see what's happened to him. He's down in 42nd. Had some sort of an issue. He ran into the back of, would that be not Clark Williams, because that car is not green enough. That might have been Kieran O'Flynn actually. So not the best of start for those guys either. But now back at the front, here we go. Starting lap number 3, it's Benny Simonson back in the lead ahead of Simon Edwards, Kane Halliburton and Lee Hughes, and this group, or this train, stretches all the way back to P14 still. So these guys need to start working together now if they want to do what they usually do and pull away from those guys behind.
Yep, absolutely. As they come round to turn 3, Kuwait corner now, and they're just about to head down to turn 4 now, on the run up to that double right-hander, and Benny Simonson's in the lead at the moment, and Simon Edwards, considering that he seems to get through the field as the race goes on, he's actually right up at the front of this race, or close to the front in this race already. So good progress by Simon, and Kane Halliburton just waiting in the wings as well. But this pack is relatively big as they head down Moss Straight now, and this is probably one of the best sections to make a move, because that slipstream can just play a factor around this Mosport track. But at the moment Simonson is under attack from Edwards, and Edwards, it looks like he's about to go for the move now, but Ken Halliburton and Lee Hughes are joining in the party.
They're side by side, 2 by 2. Here comes Lee Hughes. He's not going to make it move for 2nd place, though. He had the chance to put it up the inside of Benny Simonson there, but he decided better of it and stayed behind in 3rd. So this lead group now 7 cars. They managed to pull away as Nicholas Von Robert had a bit of an issue down there in Moss, as we saw. he got a bit tighter, got up on the grass inside of the curb, and that kind of split up this group a little bit. So at the moment, Simon Edwards in the lead, back to Anthony P.M. Jones, and then there's about a 1.5 second gap down to 8th place where Nathan Wade is. As they're coming around turn number 1 here, you can see the lap car coming out of the pits there. He's going to stay well off to the right, don't let these guys pass. Going to get a bit of a shallow entry there into Clayton Hill, which is a very tricky corner, but they all get through it very well. Phil McDougall was the rejoining car there, he slots in between them. And now Will Redford, Nathan Wade going at it for 8th place back there as well. As we have a car going around, that would be Will Redford. He makes contact with Nathan Wade just as he makes the pass, and that's going to send him backwards. He's not going to hit the fence though. There's another car. That would be Dave Martin, who makes contact with Dave M. Dowson, so he's going to lose that a bit as well. But Will Redford going to drop from 8th position down to 23rd as of now. See if he's going to drop another one. No, that's where he will end up. So 15 positions dropped for him from that little incident as he makes a move, and not really sure who was at fault there, but still racing. Going to get a replay of that here actually as he comes around the outside, turns in, and Tufts just does not hold the car. Oh wait, actually sorry, I mean does not hold the car tight enough there. So a bit of an unfortunate incident there. Wade now and Tufts though side by side for the lead in this group, as well as at the front where Benny Simonson just gets back ahead of Simon Edwards to retake the lead. He's sitting back there in 3rd just waiting. He knows if he's the 3rd car and gets involved in that, it's just going to slow them down, so he's going to let the front 2 keep on switching here so they can pull away from the rest of the pack, and then they can start battling. But that gap is now up to 2.8 seconds even from 7th down to 8th, so they're doing a good job. It's actually up to 3 seconds now as they keep battling for 8th and 9th position there between Daniel Tufts and Nathan Wade, so they're not helping each other by doing this, but obviously they want to gain as many spots as they can back here and be leading this group. So I'm all for them battling, but as long as they do that, the front guys are just going to drive off.
Yeah, absolutely. This front pack is just basically, they've got a big enough gap now to just pull away, work together, pull away, and then once they do that towards the end of the race, that once they've got a big enough gap, they can just start going for it. But also Benny Simonson as well, he can't really get into a fight at the moment because he's got to think of the championship. Yeah, it's tempting to try and go for it and try and win the race, but he just needs to, at the moment, by my terrible calculations, I think he just needs to finish in the top 3 in every round. As long as he finishes in front of Lear Hughes and Simon Edwards, it should be enough to take the championship. But as we ride on board with Seth Brown at the moment, currently in P15, he's stuck behind his pack in front of him of Clark Williams, Andrew Baranowski, Nick Vaughan Roberts, James McRitchie rather, and Tony Stack. So not just battles up at the front, but also battles in the midfield as well.
It is, and he's actually at the back of this train now. Kevin Budgeon and George Mattock had a bit of a scrap, so they lost a bit of time as well, as they're still going at it at the front of this pack. Wade and Tufts. Now it's Vaughan Roberts going on McRitchie here to make up another position. You can see these 2 cars behind there, Mattock and Budgeon, going side by side through all of these corners, which is the reason Seth Brown ahead was able to pull away. But these 2 still going at it. Budgeon looking to make a move back up the inside of Mattock, but Mattock is going to be clear, so maybe he can catch back up to this group ahead now, which at the moment stretches from 8th down to 15th. Meanwhile, the leaders are going at it as well. Simon Edwards is back in the lead as well. Simonson has a bit of a look up the inside, but looks like so far the only place they are going to make a move on each other is down that long Mario Andretti straightaway coming down into the S's, and that's the quickest way to come around this track. And the gap back there still 3.3 seconds now, so they're doing a good job with it. I mean, at the same time as they're still battling back in that second pack now on board here with Ewan Pattinson in 5th position right behind Kane Halliburton. So you're going to see just how much of a run they get on the leaders, but then they just choose not to pass each other because they know that these guys at the front, they're pulling away slightly, they're doing what they can to go as fast as possible, and then as soon as they start battling all the way around the track, these guys will start getting involved as well. You can see their Halliburton moves out to get out of the draft. Pattinson drives up to the back of him and then just lets off the gas, but here they go, 3 wide almost. Lee Hughes is looking in the middle, but he's going to back out again. Let Simonson have the lead and Simon Edwards stay in second. So he's there, he's showing himself, making his presence felt, but he's not getting too involved just yet.
Yep, and Kane Halliburton, he's not in the championship fight, so he's got nothing to lose if he wants to go for it. I think he's just waiting there, planning what he's going to do, but like I say, he's not in the championship battle, so if he wants to go for it, he can. There's no, and anyone complains, well, Halliburton, he's not in the fight, so he can just kind of just go for it and try and make moves at the moment if he wants to.
Meanwhile, we saw James McRitchie there crashing out of that second group straight into the wall. Going to get a quick replay of that here as well. Got the 14 coming up the inside there. That's Andrew Baranowski to make contact, and McRitchie just goes straight out into the wall. So that's going to be day over for him. Very unfortunate, as he was there in that second group, 8th down to 16th. But not anymore. So that group is now down to 16th, 8th to 16th place. So just 9 cars still in that group though. But at the front, Benny Simonson and Simon Edwards are still going at it. Lee Hughes is right there as they're coming around Moss again. Sort of a double apex hairpin. It's a very weird corner to get right, but these guys seems to have mastered it. Simon Edwards now gets the run. See if Lee Hughes is going to make it 3 wide. Now the second pack coming into that corner as well. That would be Martin and Kirkman, I believe, going at it back there. At the back of this pack, but Edwards, here comes Lee Hughes as well. He's going to make it 3 wide this time. Edwards is in the middle, Pattinson on the inside. He's going to be clear though. Edwards, Lee Hughes around the outside, and he's going to go from 3rd to 1st, and that proves that that can be done. So on the final lap, this is going to be far from over until they come in through these corners. Pattinson comes around the outside of Halliburton as well, wants to get up into 4th, and I think these guys have had enough of working with each other now. The gap down to the second group still only 3.3 seconds. But they are starting to go at it now as we're coming to complete lap number 7 here onto lap number 8. So not even halfway yet, and they're already sick of just working together. They just want to race.
Yeah, I think they're just they've just figured out they've got a decent gap to the pack behind them, and they're just basically decided to go for it. But at the moment, it's all well and good that you've got a decent enough gap, but when you're fighting up at the front. But if any of these guys get caught up at the front and have an issue, this will allow the second pack behind them to close right up. But it looks like Anthony PM Jones is just doing the sensible thing of hanging back and watching these guys what they're doing, and maybe just kind of planning what he's going to do if they have an issue and try and benefit and pick up a few positions. But as they come onto the back straight now, on the exit of Moss Corner and onto the Mario Andretti straight away, I think don't be surprised if you see any of these positions change up at the front, as it looks like Leo Hughes is about to lose the lead to Simon Edwards and even possibly lose another position to Benny Simonson as they're about to go 3 wide.
Simonson is going to make it 3 wide once again. He's going to give it right back here to Lee Hughes. Go from 3rd up to 1st and then back down to 3rd. The next lap will Lee Hughes. Pattinson is there as well, but he's not going to be able to get too involved, I don't think. Simonson not able to come around Simon Edwards though, who was in the middle, and he's going to keep the lead. So on board now with Simonson as well here, see what he can do. But I think he just made a sensible decision and backed out there. Let Simonson have the lead. The more you go side by side, the more you're going to lose. And over those last couple of laps, they actually lost over half a second down to that second group by battling through those S's twice. So that gap now down to less than 3 seconds. And a couple of laps are doing this, and that gap will be gone, and the lead pack is back up to 10 or even 16 cars depending on what's going on behind him. But Pattinson looking to make a move on Lee Hughes here to see whatever he can find. Now there's a lap car up ahead as well. If they don't catch him before Moss hairpin, he's going to be giving some good draft to Simon Edwards, and he could potentially lead this field around this whole lap and be the first guy to do that in this race. So see how that lap traffic gets involved here, and if we have lap traffic towards the end, that could definitely come into play as well. Now as they're coming out of Moss here, I think that lap car will just move out of the way though nicely. He will, so Simon Edwards will come through and bring the whole train with him, but they're going to go as close as they possibly can to get as much draft as possible. Behind him you can see Wade, One Robertson Tufts has pulled away slightly from the rest of the pack as well, to split that second group up into 2. So that's a trio of cars. If they start working together here, they could be back up here in no time as Benny Simonson comes around the outside of Simon Edwards to retake the lead once more, and Lee Hughes just stays in behind in 3rd place.
Yep, as they're coming through the final few corners now and about to head into turn 10, White's corner, and Benny Simonson retakes the lead as they're about to come across the line now. And yeah, this pack, they're still scaffing away, and even though they're scaffing away, they've managed to pull away slightly still from the second pack behind them. But yeah, it's the Monday Night Skippys providing great racing again, and it looks like they've got a move on the other side of this battle heading into turn 1. It's George Matuk, because he gets a bit sideways and he's trying to make a move by the looks of it on Kevin Bergen.
Good driving there to keep that car going straight though from Budgeon, as he had to go really tight in turn number 1. Obviously going to lose out to Budgeon there, but still keeping with the battle at the front of that pack. It's Stack, Bernowski, Williams and Brown going at it. as well, but I think they're going to be keeping it calm here through this part of the lap now as the leaders is coming up to the Moss hairpin again. Lap number 10 as we're coming down to 6 laps to go. It's Benny Simonson leading the way this time. Simon Edwards right on his tail as we have a car getting sideways there. That would be Adam Miles, goes a little bit wide on their hairpin, loses a bit of momentum. Now PM Jones is going to come up next to him and they need to find that draft quickly, or this front group is going to be down to 5 cars before you know what even happened. But that's what happens if you make a mistake in Moss and lose all momentum. You're going to lose the cars in front of you. As here comes Simon Edwards, makes a move to the lead. Here comes Lees, he's going to put it 3 wide. He's going to get it around both of them. Looks like he is. He's going to be all the way on the outside. They're still going to be 3 wide as they come into the SS. Now Simonson backs out. Halliburton is going to come around him as well. Pattinson sitting at the back of this pack, just waiting, almost contact there between Simonson and Halliburton. As Simonson is back on the inside, retaking 3rd place, but Lees comes through on Simon Edwards to take the lead as we get 6 laps to go here. And if these guys are still in this group coming onto that straight on the final lap, I'm not too sure how many of these guys will come through the SS without any sort of contact, as we get a replay here of Adam Miles coming a little bit wide over the curb. Manages to save it though, but that loss of momentum for him and PM Jones has put them 1.5 seconds behind this lead group. So unless they start battling here, I think the hope is lost for PM Jones and Adam Miles to catch back up.
Yeah, I think they've fallen too far back now. It's almost like Edwards was trying to make a move on Leo Hughes as they head down the hill up to that double right-hander, and yeah, I'm still amazed that Leo Hughes managed to make that move on the outside heading into the final 3 corners the previous lap, and he take the lead. I'm surprised that never ended up in contact.
Coming down the straightaway once more here now. Lee Hughes is leading the way from Simon Edwards. This time there's not going to be too much of a move. Maybe it is. He caught him a bit late, but he's going to move out here as they come over the crest. They're going to be side by side, and here comes Simonson as well. He is going to be brave enough to make it 3 out there, and he will be clear of Lee Hughes, but not of Simon Edwards, so there's still going to be 3. Lee Hughes is going to have to back out on the inside. Simonson comes through from the middle, so Simonson going to have to settle for 2nd as Edwards moves through to the lead. And this is going to be really interesting as we come to the last lap, because the outside line looks to have the momentum coming into the corner, but then as we get through halfway through that first corner of the S's, the middle line gets a bit more momentum as it's you can just turn in, because the inside line looks like it has to back out completely. So I don't really know where you want to position yourself on the final lap here, but I'm sure these guys have practiced that enough to know where you'd ideally want to be. So we will just have to wait and see, as they're still going at it now on board. Well, not anymore, but that was Benny Simonson in 3rd. You can see just how close they are, and they've pulled away another 10th on that lap from the pack behind, or the pair behind of PM Jones and Adam Miles, who are only as well 1.4 seconds ahead of Von Roberts, Tufts and Wade. So that could easily become a 5-car battle for 6th down to 10th as well. So 5-car battle at the front and 5-car battle for the bottom half of the top 10, and then another 5-car battle down to P15, and then a 4-car battle down to 19th. So there's a bunch of big groups here at the front of the pack. See how many of those we can keep up with as they're coming onto the straightaway once more. Simonson just pulls out, and he will be well clear of Simon Edwards, I believe, as we come down to the S's. Here comes Lee Hughes as well. I'm not going to let these guys be alone. He's going to make it 3 wide. There's a lap car on the inside, going to be 4 wide for a second there. Halliburton is there as well, but Lee Hughes on the outside, then Simonson in the middle is going to get the drive out of the corner. Edwards holds on nicely. They're going to be side by side, with Lee Hughes is still coming into the second part of the SS, and then into the final corner. Edwards comes through and holds on to 2nd as Halliburton comes through on Pattinson to move back up into 4th position as well. And that little scrap in there says let Miles and PM Jones close up again, but it's still 1.5 seconds, but they did gain almost, well, just over 3/10 on that lap. So any little scrap here from anybody and they will lose a ton of time, and all of a sudden this lead group could be back up to 10 cars.
Yeah, absolutely. As a ride on board with Ian Patterson heading through Clayton Corner and heading up down to turn 3 Quebec Corner. And Ian Patterson, he's always been quick in this series and with this car. I think, but can he take the win? I think it's a bit of a tall order being in this position in this pack. But I think if any of these guys in front of him have issues, he could be the one to benefit from it. But yeah, looking at this amazing view heading up to that double apex corner, if you like, and Benny Simonson in the lead, but I don't think he'll be there for long, because I think Simon Edwards and Leo Hughes, if they get the run, they'll go for it.
Edwards did lose a bit of momentum there coming onto the straightaway, but the draft is going to be big enough that he will still get a run. Lee Hughes is up next to him already though. So Lee Hughes is out of the draft. He's going to pinch in Simon Edwards behind Simonson, it looks like. And here comes Halliburton on the outside as well. They're almost going to be 4 wide now. Coming down into the SS. Halliburton backs out though. He makes the smart move there. Edwards all the way on the inside now. He backs out too. So Simonson has the inside. Lee Hughes is inside for the next part of the SS. And then coming into wides, the final corner. Is he going to be clear, or is Simonson still going to be there? He is. But then Lee Hughes with the outside line should have the momentum coming down the straightaway. Edwards and Halliburton is side by side behind him. Pattinson is right there as well. There's 5 cars under a blanket here, and that time by, I believe they were spread out by just under 4/10 of a second at the line, these top 5 cars. So this is far from over now. Inside is Lee Hughes. He's going to get back ahead, and then Halliburton up the inside there. That's up the inside as well. Now Edwards has lost out, and he's in 5th position all of a sudden as he goes through the grass, but he manages to hold on to it, so he's going to keep on going. Now Miles, PM Jones and Tubbs, they're only a second behind Simon Edwards, so 2.5 laps to go, and these guys back here, they're definitely closing in.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys up at the front just scrapping away all the time is allowing PM Jones and Miles to close back up, and as I head down to on the exit of Moss Corner onto the Mario Andretto straightaway. I think Simon Edwards, I think if he's got to think of the championship, if he's in contention for that, then I think he's got to go for it, but he's got to be sensible as well. It's better to take a podium rather than take any risks and try and go for the win. But they're just about to go 3 wide again, and Ken Halliburton is making it 3 wide. Leo Hughes is on the inside. Benny Simonson is basically in a sandwich.
Yeah, Pattinson, Halliburton. Well, Halliburton definitely the one with the least to lose here, as they're going 3 wide again and 2 by 2 behind. So I believe if anyone's going to do anything stupid here, it's going to be Halliburton or possibly Pattinson, sorry, as those two are further down in the championship. And now with that scrapping coming through the last couple of corners, that second group is caught up. There's now a 10-car battle for the lead, but those guys at the back, they only have 2 laps to come up through this little pack of cars. I don't think they're going to be in too much of a contention for wins, but definitely a top 5 or even a podium position should something happen here. But Leo Hughes now leading the way again, ahead of Benny Simonson and Halliburton. Simon Edwards is in 4th with Pattinson in 5th. And it's PM Jones, Miles, One Roberts, Tufts and Nathan Wade back in 10th position. They're all within 2 seconds of each other, so one little incident here and you are in 10th position in no time. Here they come again, down into the hairpin for the second to final time, lap number 15 of 16. Leo Hughes leading the way this time. That could put him in a good position for the final lap, as Benny Simonson or Kane Halliburton will most likely be leading coming to the white flag, as here they come onto the straightaway. Which way are they going to go? The leader keeps blocking the inside though, even though the outside seems to be the quicker way through the S's. Here is Simon Edwards now in 4th position. He's going to go to the right of Kane Halliburton. Looks like Halliburton has backed out slightly to not get a run, or he just had a bad momentum. Side by side for the leader. They're going to make it 4 wide almost. Edwards backs out, so does Halliburton. Both of them want to be in 3rd coming to the white flag. Lee Hughes holds onto the lead though from Simonson. Looks like nobody wants to be leading here coming to the white flag. They almost run each other over at the back of this pack as well because of it. Now they're all over each other. I believe these front 9 cars are going to be almost within a second as we're coming to get the white flag. They're 2 by 2 by 2 and they're almost running over each other, trying to not be in the lead. What is going on, Ryan?
This is fantastic stuff. All these guys, this front pack, they broke away at one point and now it's all closed back up again, and this is fantastic racing as they head through Clayton Corner and Benny Simonson on the inside, and I just feel something's going to happen. There's going to be an accident at some point in that back straight, as though it's like PM Jones is trying to make a move, maybe trying to help his teammate Leo Hughes, but as they come through Quebec Corner now and they're heading up to that run to the double right-hander, and it looks like Leo Hughes is trying to make a move on Benny Simonson. And can he try and get the move done up the inside as they head down there? And it looks like he might have the move done. And fantastic stuff in the last lap.
Coming onto the straightaway for the final time. There is lap traffic ahead, but I don't think that's going to come into play. Here we come. They're 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. This is almost like NASCAR Super Speedway racing. They're going to be 2 wide, almost 3 wide coming onto the straightaway. Simonson is in the middle. Lee Hughes is on the right. Here comes Halliburton making it 3 wide. Edwards is looking to make it 4. Oh, they almost make contact, but he holds on to it. They're 3 wide now, coming down the straightaway to the S's. Here comes Pattinson. He's going to go to the left and make it 4 wide. He's going to put 2 wheels in the grass. He has to back out of it, but they're still going to be 3 by 2 by 2 coming into the final corner. It's going to be Lee Hughes or Benny Simonson. Simonson gets his nose ahead. There's contact behind. Von Roberts goes off. He's going to hit the barrier, see if he can continue. But coming into the final corner, Benny Simonson is going to be ahead. And here they come out of the final turn. Is Benny Simonson. He is going to take the win at Mosport ahead of Lee Hughes. Halliburton holds off Simon Edwards for 4th position. I believe Adam Miles came through there. Pattinson actually in 5th. Adam Miles came through up to 6th. And Anthony PM Jones is not the guy that went off. That was Nicholas Von Roberts. He drops all the way down to 17th. But what a race for the finish there. 2 by 2 by 2 through the final corners, and somehow Benny Simonson manages to hold off the other drivers and take the win by a mere 23/100ths of a second. Here they come again on the replay into the final corner, looking to make it 4 wide there, Ewan Pattinson, but he just runs out of room. So they're 2 by 2 for the lead. Lee Hughes on the inside there, gonna lose momentum there. You see Von Roberts going off as well, but he just can't hold it there on the outside. Lee Hughes in the second part of the SS. Halliburton comes through, but with Lee Hughes being on the inside through the final corner, he holds on to 2nd place. Edwards is there as well, but cannot get the momentum. So wow, what a finish that was, Ryan.
Oh, that was fantastic racing on the last lap, and I'm just gobsmacked that the back straight, it never ended up in contact because everyone was so close together and just meters apart from each other. But fair play to those guys. They raced each other hard, but they gave each other just enough room, and boy, that was probably the best last lap finish of the season so far.
Definitely was. Got the full post-race results here with Benny Simonson, like we said, winning the race. 2/10ths of a second ahead of Lee Hughes. Halliburton in 3rd, Edwards in 4th, Ewan Pattinson in 5th, Adam Miles in 6th, and Anthony PM Jones in 7th. With Daniel Tufts in 8th and Nathan Wade in 9th. So 9 of those 10 cars made it to the line, and you can see there the top 7 is within a second at the line. That's how close it was. And then Rick Shaw manages to win the battle in that 3rd group, which ended up being the 2nd group for 10th position. Andrew Bernowski in 11th, Kevin Budgeon in 12th, Dave Dowson in 13th, Clark Williams in 14th, Seth Brown in 15th, Stephen Nobes in 16th, Simon Maltby 17th, Peter Cohen in 18th, Dave Kirkman 19th, and Nicholas Von Roberts drops all the way down to 20th place. Ray Peasley in 21st, Mark Van Dahl in 22nd, Matt Whitridge in 23rd, Alan Patterson in 24th, Dave Martin 25th, Neil McGinty in 26th, Martin Booker in 27th, Chris Kane 28th, George Matic 29th, and then Will Redford recovers to P number 30 after having another incident. The rest of the result is up on your screen, and despite all the incidents we saw, there is still 36 cars finishing on the late lap here, Ryan, and that just proves how good these drivers are. So many cars on the track and still that many to finish on the lead lap despite making contact and going off.
Yeah, absolutely. Considering that Mosport is one of those tracks, sometimes it can be a bit of an attrition race, but I think tonight the drivers, not just up at the front but in the midfield and further back at the rear of the field, just demonstrated that there's good drivers in this series, and we didn't have many retirements like I thought there would be, so that's a good thing. And like you say, these drivers on the Monday Night Skippys are a good quality.
Benny Simonson as well, doing exactly what he has to do, getting his 3rd win of the season here, which means that he will definitely be extending that championship lead. But Lee Hughes is in 2nd, he also finishes 2nd, so it's still going to be super tight at the top there with 2 races to go. And here we see the crash as well in the final corner. I'm surprised there was only 1 car going off with how many cars was involved in that group. But that just goes to show as well how good these guys are, and that they managed to finish that close. Still waiting for drivers to show up for post-race interviews here as we get some more amazing replays here of those final couple of corners. And this is pretty much where Benny Simonson got clear of Lee Hughes to secure that win, as well as Halliburton moving up the inside at the back there as well. You can see Nathan Wade trying to get inside of Tufts there, but just amazing how they do it. Here we come again into the S, as you can see Von Roberts going off into the wall. They're very, very unfortunate. It was very light contact, but in these open wheel cars that is enough to send you flying straight off the track. And then a bit of wiggling celebrations there from Benny Simonsen. And I just wonder what would have happened if Pattinson managed to make it 4 wide there. That would have been fun to see. I don't think he would have been able to hold it, but it looks like that is actually PM Jones that drifts out a little bit and makes contact with one Roberts, letting Adam Miles come up the inside and steal that 6th position. He almost got up to 5th as well, but just not able to do it. So they're still waiting for those post-race interviewees to show up, see if they can find their way here. So while we do that, let's take a moment to tell you about our supporting what you call it, charity, the CALMZONE.net. If I can figure that out, they are the leading do you say cause in the fight against suicide prevention in the UK. So if you know anyone suffering from suicidal thoughts or any sort of depression, visit the CALMZONE.net and try to help them get in contact with those, as they are the leading male suicide prevention charity in the country. Now let's see if anybody has shown up yet. No, does not look like anybody wants to talk to us today, so see if we can get the championship standings on the screen, and if those have updated yet. As we're getting more replays here, cars crashing, I believe that is after the finish. Championship standings will be with us any minute, so next then, Ryan, the rest of the season, Donington Park, National Layout and Long Beach. That will be an extraordinary ending to this championship. Any predictions for those races as to who will do well and what we might see?
Donington Park is the one I'm looking forward to. I've always loved that track. I think Monday Night Skippys, it's always produced great racing, and yeah, I think that should be another close race. Overtaking is notoriously difficult sometimes, and yeah, Long Beach as well to round out the season. That should be a good one to round it out, and I think the championship is still all to play for, but Benny Simonsen is just doing all the right things to make sure that he keeps his he has one hand on the championship and just staying in front in the standings.
Definitely will. As we finally have some people showing up here, let's start with Andrew Baranowski. Started P15, came home in P11, race long battle there with Rick Shaw, Kevin Budgeon and a couple of others. Tell us about your race, Andrew.
Hi guys, yeah, it was a bit of a stressful one for me. I was in the wars a little bit. Did our best to stay with the group in front, and unfortunately I think it was my fault that we lost the tow. I was having a really good battle with Tony. But yeah, like you say, just constantly drafting, trying to break that draft. Big long group, and yeah, unfortunately a couple of people exited stage left at a couple of points, which I feel a bit sorry about, but that's racing.
It's a great race for you, still gaining a lot of positions, and it looked like you guys were all over each other all through the race, while the guys at the front, as usual, they started working together, but they stopped doing that pretty quickly. So just how hard is it to hold a position here when the draft is as big as it is down the straightaway? And do you plan to position yourself anywhere particular coming to the final lap?
Yeah, I did want to be second in that group coming onto the last lap. Of course, really the only overtaking opportunity for us was on that back straight. So obviously the plan was to try and get that second place on the back straight, draft past and hold on to it through the last few corners. But with the incident on the lap before, it didn't work out like that, and I ended up losing that place to Ricky.
Well, that is unfortunate, but still. Good race by the looks of it. So anybody you want to send a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, big shout out to Seth, who unfortunately finished his race in the back of my car on the last corner, just misjudged the speed a bit. But yeah, big shout out to you guys, and big shout out to everyone in the UK. Hopefully we can go outside and enjoy ourselves soon as well.
Yeah, I believe that is what we are all hoping for, really. Thank you for joining us, Andrew. Next up we have Ryan standing by with Nathan Wade, who came home in 9th.
Yeah, Nathan Wade qualified ninth and finished in ninth in the end, and he was involved in that lead battle towards the end as well. And Nathan, you must have been having a whale of a time with a grin on your face.
Yeah, it was actually quite a good race, to be fair. I do want to apologise to Will for the turn 3 incident on lap 4, I believe. I kind of ruined his race. I kind of like half backed out of a move, but then kind of stayed there as well. So it's my fault. So I apologise to Will about that. But I was losing the pack, and then by the end of the race, like last few laps, I did catch on the end. I just didn't quite manage to get enough oomph to get anywhere with it. But it was a good race.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that incident as well, and I think it was just one of those things, just a racing deal sort of thing. But apart from that, you kept out of trouble and you finished in the top 10. So it must give you a bit of confidence towards the end of the season and heading into next season. But what did you think of Mosport, and what did you think of the combination or the racing in general? Do you think it's one of those tracks that suits the Skippy?
I'll be honest. I started kind of iRacing the Skippys back in Suzuka, just to the end of Suzuka. So I've only been doing it like 8 weeks now, and this is probably my favourite track of the 8. To be fair, even though it's like an ice rink, like there's just like no grip out there for like 8 laps. It's actually like a load of fun, to be fair. So it's been my most enjoyable week so far.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with that as well. With Mosport and the Skippy, with the Skippy anyway, it feels like you're on an ice rink, but that's why I find it so much fun, because it's a challenge, and also it helps with car control. So I think the Skippy in general is all about that as well. So I think I have to agree with you. And looking ahead to Donington Park next week as well with the national layout, is that a track you're looking forward to? And have you raced around there before? Is that another track that you'll need to learn?
Yeah, I haven't done any practice there at all. I've literally, the only tracks I've done would have been the ones on the calendar so far. So the last 8 weeks, I'm just doing them week by week as they come at the minute. So just kind of getting used to the Skippies. But I feel I am quite glad with how things are going. Like, I feel like I'm improving better. It's just like my main racecraft now, and like general pace, it needs to improve. But other than that, I am looking forward to Donington next week, because I do like the track in real life, to be fair. So hopefully I'll be good in the Skippies.
And before we let you go, Nathan, anyone that you want to give a shout out to or thank you to?
You guys and Alan for running the league and the stream. I want to apologise to Will again, because I didn't mean to do it, and it was good racing with me, Nick and Daniel Tufts, I believe. So shout out to them guys.
Great to hear. Well, again, congratulations on the top 10 there, Nathan, and we'll look forward to seeing you on track at Donington Park next week. Cheers
guys, see you later.
As I believe up next, Linus, you have got the 4th place finisher Simon Edwards with you.
I do. Simon, that looked like it was one of the best races ever for everybody, at least for us watching. How was it for you guys on the track?
It was brilliant, really. Everybody was giving each other just enough room in just the right places. We nearly clashed several times, especially when I didn't see Ewan come up the inside of me in T2, I think it was, and I literally jumped out of the way. So I'm glad I didn't clatter him off the road. But it was great fun. I accidentally got a bit too close to Benny on the exit of Moss, which slowed me down, and then I fell down to 5th, I think, once Ewan had got past me. So it was going to be very difficult to win it from there, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I have to ask though, coming to the white flag, it looked like it was a battle to not be in the lead at the white flag. Is that what it was, or what was going on there? Because it looked like everybody was trying to stop and let everybody through to not be the leaders coming onto the straightaway.
Yeah, there's a couple of tactics you can use. You can, and I think both Claire and Benny were trying to use the same tactic, which was basically be a bit behind and then side draft anybody who tries to come back, and then try and win it that way. And whoever's in the lead is dead. So I think that's what they were trying to do. But yeah, nobody wanted to lead, certainly that anyway. But I think Claire did well to finish second. He was in a vulnerable position there to lose second, so I think Claire did well as well. as well as Benny.
Yeah, it certainly made for an interesting finish, to say the least. So we're always happy when you guys battle to not be leading the race. That's always funny when that happens. I remember a couple of years ago when they did that from a 5-second lead and ended up losing the race, both of them. So we appreciate you guys racing in weird ways at times. So Donington next week then, and then Long Beach for the final. What's your expectations for those races?
I'm not a big fan of Donington. I like it in the faster cars, but in this car it's a bit eh. But it's not the worst track, so it's better than some, so I'm not going to complain too much. Long Beach, it's all right, but it's only really got one difficult corner, and the rest of it is sort of a bit iffy in the slower cars. So, you know, for challenge, you've just got to get the right line, and that's it. So, but it might make an interesting race. I don't think we've raced there yet, have we?
Don't think so, but that is, well, that's to see in 2 weeks' time what happens there. So anybody you want to send a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I'll shout out to my sponsor Masternaut, to you guys, and to the competitors, all the at the front there for such a great race without any big incidents.
Not really at the front, no. Just Von Roberts got sent in the wall in the final corners, but that's bound to happen when there's 10 cars all over each other.
As long as it wasn't me.
Nope, not this time. Well, thanks for joining us, Simon. Then next, or last, we have Ryan with George Mattock. Yeah,
George, he was challenging for a top 15 place. The last time I looked, George, you were in 16th, I believe. And towards the end of the race, in the results, but I'm checking the results, it says that you were 33rd, so what happened?
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have gone any worse. Qualifying was it was pretty close actually. I think I was only a 10th off 10th place or 11th place, and I think I started 19th or 20th. But you know, it was a mediocre performance really from myself. I need to hold myself to higher standards, but yeah, I've got a couple of positions from the start, and then kind of got held up in the mid pack. They were tussling, and they lost the front pack obviously. It's having a really just carving my way through the field, and then I got to how many laps was there? Lap 15. I was third in the queue. There was Andrew. I think there was someone else in between us, maybe Tony or somebody. But they were pulling away, and I managed to sit in the slipstream. Got in the slipstream up on the last lap and got past Andrew. And we had one corner to go. There was a back marker in the way for Andrew. He like half backed out of it, so I thought he backed out of it, but unfortunately he tried to go for a move and sent me flying out of the map. So that was my race done. I was about 100 yards from the line. Would have finished 11th or 10th or somewhere like that. But yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, you're close to the top 10, like you say, and even though it didn't go the way you wanted it to, it still must be a positive thing as we head towards the end of the season. Just you're starting to get closer and closer to the top 10, or even in the top 10 at times. So it's got to be a good thing heading into next season.
Yeah, there's positives obviously, but I just hope that other people would, perhaps leave the space that we deserve. I'm very new to this series, like Nathan and myself. We've been doing this for 8-9 weeks, and always racing fair, always being very careful, making sure we're not making contact and not going for silly moves, even if it is the last lap. You know, you've had 15 laps of fair racing. I think you can manage to do another lap without crashing, but yeah, it is what it is.
And I think it was you anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you said that a certain Sebastian Job's been helping you. Is that correct?
Yeah. Are you hinting that when he got taken out twice in 2 races, is that the similarities that you're hinting to?
No, not at all. I was just going to ask about that quickly. has he had any like sort of an impact, like positively, and like do you find it's helping the having a Porsche Esports Super Cup driver helping you, and also what sort of stuff has he been helping you with?
Yeah, well, he hasn't exactly been driving for me, so there's that. He's just been giving me some tips. Obviously, he's won Skip Barber Championships before when he was way younger and way less experienced. So he's just been helping with very small things, with just my driving, overall driving style. Like, I'm not a professional, he is, so obviously I hold him as I think he is the best sim racer on the planet right now. There's not really a faster person, in my opinion. And so to have a world champion giving you some small tips is helpful, but he's not exactly, you know, logging into my account and driving for me. So yeah, that would be nice, but yeah, it's just small things he's helping with me. So yeah, shout out to him as well.
Great to hear. And last a little before we let you go, George, quickly, anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to you guys, of course, for the broadcast again. Always good fun to watch you back. Shout out to Alan as well, and shout out to my uncle. Actually, I believe he is watching. He actually helped me fix my wheel, because my wheel base decided to pack up on Friday night, so I kind of missed quite a lot of practice over Friday and Saturday. I only did some on Sunday mostly, so shout out to him, because otherwise I wouldn't have been, well, maybe I would have been 33rd, you never know, but thanks to him.
Good stuff. Well, again, not the result you wanted, George, but hopefully you can redeem yourself at Donington Park next week, which is where we head to, and we'll be on the national layout, so we'll look forward to seeing you then.
Cheers, guys. It can't get any worse, so let's hope it's better. Cheers.
Thank you to all the drivers joining us today, even if we had to wait a little bit. So here is the current championship standings with 10 out of the 12 races completed. Benny Simonson leading the way, now 338 points ahead of Leus at 311 and Simon Edwards at 287. But then again, with those drop weeks coming into account, Leus is a lot closer than that, but we'll have to figure that out for next week. Now, at the back of this group, we have Tufts at 169, Will Redford at 162, and then just 1 point behind this, we have Nathan Wade, who said this is the first thing he's doing on iRacing, so still possibility for a top 10 in his first ever iRacing experience, which I believe is really, really good. So seeing him in the top 10 here, we could potentially see him racing for the championship next season, but that is still a few weeks out. Next week then we are heading to Donington Park and the national layout, like Ryan said, and that's bound to be another interesting race. 19 laps for that one, and hope that you will join us then. Today though, you've been watching the UK&I Monday Night Skippys from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. My name is Linus Broström, joined as always by Ryan Walker with Ugulees on the cameras. Next week at Donington Park, hope to see you then. Until then, take care everybody, and goodbye.